You all know I love to go full speed, but today on the podcast, full speed takes on a whole different meaning. Hop in, buckle up, and get ready to lay it on the line. This is Not Speeding, Just Qualifying, a podcast that's just as fast as it sounds. Hello again, family. I'm David Lawrence, and welcome to an all-new episode of the Not Speeding, Just Qualifying podcast. I appreciate you for joining me today. Before I get started, make sure your qualifying setup is all dialed in. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel or search Not Speeding, Just Qualifying in the podcast section of the YouTube Music app and subscribe to us today. Let's go ahead and get started. Time for our in-lap segment. Sector 1 takes us to Salt Lake City, the season finale of the Monster Energy AMA Supercross season. Chase Sexton, who came in second in the championship, he had to do everything he could. He did just that. 7th win of the season. Unfortunately for him, Cooper Webb did all he needed to do. His 4th place was enough to clinch the 2025 450 title, the third of his career, by a mere 2 points. Francis Tom Vial successfully defended his 250 East crown, while Hayden Deegan, who won Saturday's East-West Showdown, clinched the 250 West Championship a race early. To Sector 2, the dominance of Alex Palou continues. Saturday's NTT IndyCar Series Socio Grand Prix on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course saw a strategy wrinkle, with 3 mandatory pit stops, having to use both the option and prime tires twice throughout the race. Another wrinkle was Graham Rahal showing muscle early and taking the lead from Palou off the start, but Palou kept his cool and eventually passed Rahal for the lead in the latter stages of the race. And despite the first yellow of the season since the season opener in St. Pete, no one could reach the number 10 DHL Honda. Palou taking his 4th win in the first 5 races to start the season. He and the rest of the NTT IndyCar paddock now shift to the oval to prepare for the Indianapolis 500. Finally, in Sector 3, it was Ferrari's banner day in the World Endurance Championship. Saturday was round 3 of the series, the 6 hours of Spa, and Ferrari remains undefeated in hypercar. James Calado, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Alessandro Pierguidi take their 2nd win of the season, while the sister number 50 Ferrari just held off the number 36 Alpine to score Ferrari a 1-2 finish, their first of the year. In LMGT3, Vista AF Course put both of their 296 GT3s on the podium, with victory going to the number 21 crew, Alessia Rivera, Francois Heriot, and American Simon Mann. The next race for the FIA World Endurance Championship is the blue ribbon centerpiece of the championship, the 93rd running of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, June 14th and 15th. That completes our in-lap as we take you across the world to follow the major headlines of racing. Today's Hot Lap is all about Season 2 of NASCAR Full Speed. On last Thursday and Friday, I did something I don't really do much anymore. I sat and binge-watched Netflix as NASCAR's venture on the streaming platform was renewed for a 2nd season and covered the 10-race NASCAR Playoffs over the span of 5 episodes. The series is designed to take you behind the scenes and give fans never-before-seen access into the lives of their favorite drivers in the sport as they tackle the most important and high-pressure points of their season. Along the way, top NASCAR insiders and analysts provided perspectives and insights to bring the moments full circle. To start off, how do I rate this show on a scale of 1 to 10? After long deliberation and thinking about it, I gave Season 2 of NASCAR Full Speed on Netflix a solid 8 out of 10. I like how the series balances the favorites and those who you didn't see coming. I appreciate going beyond the veil, getting a glimpse at race prep. I enjoy how the series carries the drama of seeing a driver in their most vulnerable moments. With that being said, I do think the series is too short and they could add 1 or 2 more episodes because I do believe the series could shine a light on more playoff drivers and need more time to do as such. 5 episodes, I just feel, isn't enough for that. With that being said, for this point, I do love Steve Letarte, from his days as a crew chief for my favorite driver Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. to being a fan of him as a TV analyst. He's one of the best in the business. But for me, I personally felt Steve tried to oversell the playoffs in the series this year. For fans that are not fans of the playoff format, seeing Steve back it to the hilt in front of you may have you not watching the series at all, or stop watching it halfway through, because it did feel like ad nauseum overkill at points. But if Steve truly loves the format, I'm not going to give him too much grief about it. We saw his feeling and opinion on the series, and to all that I can say, to each their own. I will respect opinions, even if I don't agree with it. Lastly, I do love how Dale Jr. this season leaned more into a devil's advocate / realist perspective during his on-screen segments. I believe that's for the reason why Dale Jr. will always be loved by fans, because he doesn't mince his words, and he's not afraid to tell it like it is. Now, what was my favorite episode out of the 5? Spoiler alert, if you have not watched the series yet, I encourage you to pause it, watch it, and then come back to hear the rest of this episode. If you don't care to watch it, or if you watched already, stay with me, here we go. My favorite episode of the season was episode 2, Dark Horses. The title, a play on Ford's Mustang Dark Horse NASCAR chassis, was fitting as two of Ford's playoff drivers found themselves on similar yet different paths. Chase Briscoe and Harrison Burton were both going to be in different places come season's end. Chase was, of course, driving for Stewart-Haas Racing, which the episode chronicled the team's announcement of closing after the 2024 season. Harrison Burton was confirmed to be leaving the Wood Brothers season's end after 3 unfortunate, lackluster, and ultimately unsuccessful seasons with the group. Chase quickly found a new home at Joe Gibbs Racing for 2025. Harrison unfortunately was not as fortunate, but as the regular season wound to its conclusion, both would secure season-altering victories. Harrison won his first and the 100th for the Wood Brothers in the August race at Daytona, while Chase would emerge victorious in the Southern 500 regular season finale in what would turn out to be the final win for Stewart-Haas Racing. I loved seeing Harrison being celebrated for his win, and I loved how the series highlighted his father, Jeff, a prominent media figure in the sport even today while doing so. Another piece of this episode I enjoyed was Chase doing donuts for his son's pre-K class. When you get a moment, tell Chase thank you for helping expose NASCAR to the next generation. Did I mention all of this was coming as wife Marissa was pregnant with twins? My God. The show also stays with Daniel Suarez from episode 1 as he prepares for a race week in his fight to stay in the championship hunt and advance to the round of 12. We also get a little spicy comment from his wife Julia at the end of the episode on her thoughts of how Trackhouse has been handling Daniel's playoff run up to that particular point. Now, let's talk about my 5 takeaways from this second season of NASCAR on Full Speed. Some good and some bad pieces that caught my attention and eye, and would definitely like to, for lack of a better word, see addressed going forward. Let's start with takeaway number 1. Netflix continues to infuse life on the track and off. I enjoy watching these guys in different states of mind. Some people will be quick to say it doesn't mean anything in the larger context of our story, but there still is a purpose in this. The wives and fiancés, children and parents are all incorporated, and I like how they give us access to see what's going on during the week as they get ready for a race. The docuseries also showing love to pit crew members, particularly those at Trackhouse and Penske throughout the season. If you know me, that's a big win and a plus. I always love to see guys who normally don't get their shine time get some attention. On to takeaway number 2, the straight up, in my opinion, disrespect for Martin Truex Jr. If you watch this show, you could be excused for having no idea Martin Truex Jr. was a playoff driver or that 2024 was his last season, but then again, they hint at that with Chase announcing that he was replacing Martin for 2025 in his piece. I understand Truex was not a contender, but I thought they would show him more love than they did. And I understand that could have been a personal thing, Truex deciding not to participate, fair game to MTJ, but I just felt that there could have been more in episodes 1 and 2 as those dealt with the first round. Branching off Truex, I don't think he was the only one that should have gotten more shine in the series. Other drivers that did not get much mention include Tyler Reddick, who made the championship 4, Kyle Larson, and Chase Elliott. We did get some of Kyle and Chase in episode 4, which dealt with the round of 8, and there was some shine time for Hendrick Motorsports, considering those two and William Byron were also moving on into the round, but Byron got more of the shine time, obviously, as he went on to race for the championship 4. With that being said, we know how reluctant Chase has been about being part of the series, and he's made as much clear. So, to not see as much of Chase as a playoff driver this time around, okay, I get it. The same could be said for Kyle and Tyler, who just didn't want to have huge roles in the show. But I still think Netflix should have made a better effort to feature them more. And frankly, it's better for the series if they do. Takeaway number 3. I just didn't feel there was much of a standout personality for me this year. Last year, Booty Barker and his boss Denny Hamlin were the definite stars and standout personalities from season 1 of the docuseries. As much as I enjoyed the wives, Morgan Bell, Juliana Blaney, Julia P.K. Suarez, I just felt none of them stood out. And this is by no means any disrespect towards them. They brought their own individuality, and yes, they shined in places. Daniel Suarez had a focus and got as much screen time as Logano and Blaney, as he was featured in the first 3 episodes up until his elimination. And it was also possible that Justin Morrison Trackhouse saw how last season paid dividends for Denny Hamlin in 2311 racing, so maybe for Justin and Daniel there was more incentive to be featured in the show this time around. But in my opinion, no one from the show put themselves above and beyond the others. Please feel free to disagree with me if you think so. Takeaway number 4. I was disappointed in how Charlotte and Martinsville were portrayed in the series, and here's where I'm going with that. Charlotte could have been given the treatment that they gave the Martinsville episode, which could have flowed into the next episode as a cliffhanger. The crowd's gone, Logano's hopes are done, or are they? Come back on the next episode and find out what really happened. Maybe Netflix didn't have the footage to have the show flow in that manner. Again, my opinion felt like that would have been a good way to go. As far as Martinsville, I feel Netflix dropped the ball. If you have not watched the series, Kim Kuhn of NBC Sports was drafted in to be a media analyst for the show's 2nd season. As Kim, who was someone right in the middle of the chaos in Martinsville as the drama unfolded that night, I would have loved to hear her perspective from being in that moment. I even went far as telling Kim herself this when I ran into her in Daytona in January, to commend her on how excellent and professional she handled the moment on pit road as she was standing there with Byron waiting on the verdict. Granted, there could have been talks with Netflix and Kim, as Kim being part of that moment, they didn't want her to contribute just for the sake of bias. I get that. But from a fan standpoint, I would have loved to hear her thoughts more in depth after the fact. We cannot hear or see live what she or others were literally thinking in that moment in real time. To me, not having Kim provide her insight and commentary on the Bell-Byron verdict as she was there on pit lane in the heat of the moment was a huge missed opportunity by Netflix. So yes, I really think they could go back and kind of get a little more of the drama placed in future seasons if they do. Lastly, takeaway number 5, and to end this on a positive note, I appreciate the underdogs getting their moment. As I said earlier, episode 2 was my favorite because it embodies what I like about this show. We see the personal impact of what it means to Chase after losing his opportunity at Stewart-Haas Racing, seeing what his Southern 500 win meant to him and everyone at Stewart-Haas Racing getting one last win before they closed their doors. We see the spotlight on Harrison Burton winning at Daytona the week before Darlington and what it meant to everyone attached to him to finally get his first win in dramatic style. We see the continuation of Daniel Suarez's journey, and many saw Daniel as an underdog to an extent because of the performance he had at the time. But to see the show highlight these drivers is something I can rally around, and hopefully they continue to do that in future seasons. Alright everyone, that is my critique and review of Season 2 of NASCAR Full Speed on Netflix. What do you all think? Leave a comment to this episode, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the show, and please make sure the opinions are respectful. I thank you in advance. Finally on today's show, here comes your outlap, a preview of this weekend's motorsports action and where you can watch it here in the USA. Super Formula is at a top list for round 5 of their championship. You can watch on motorsport.tv with a subscription. Formula E is in Japan for the Tokyo E-Prix. You can watch live on the Roku channel. World Superbike is in the Czech Republic. You can watch the action on Racer Network, or you can subscribe to World Superbike Video Pass if you want complete access to all on-track action. The World Rally Championship returns to action with the Rally Portugal. Watch on rally.tv, subscribe today so you don't miss any action. Formula One and their support series are at Imola for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Watch the Formula One race live on ESPN2. You can catch Formula 2 and Formula 3 on ESPN Plus, along with the Mobil One Super Cup. GT World Challenge Europe has their second sprint weekend of the season at Zandvoort. Stream all the action on the GT World YouTube channel. GT World Challenge America has their third weekend, this time at Sebring International Raceway in Central Florida. Stream the action also on the GT World YouTube channel. The NTT IndyCar Series tackles qualifying weekend for the Indianapolis 500. Catch all the action Saturday and Sunday on Fox and FS1. And last but not least is All-Star Weekend at North Wilkesboro for the NASCAR Cup Series. They will be accompanied by the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, who will race on Saturday. Saturday night, the All-Star Heats. Sunday, the All-Star Open, and the main event. You can catch all the action on FS1. All right, family, that's our episode today. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Are you listening and have a topic or series you want us to cover on the show? Drop a comment on any of our episodes and let us know. You can also reach out by email at dalmotorsports@gmail.com. That's dalmotorsports@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you all. Also, connect with us on social media. We are on Blue Sky, X, Instagram, and TikTok, all at the same handle at NSJQ Podcast. Subscribe to our show so you don't miss whenever we drop new content for the pod. Like and share our stuff. The more you like and share, the more YouTube will start recommending our episodes to others. Lastly, if you want to follow me on my personal social media handles, links to those will be in the description box to this episode. I will talk to you next time for another episode of the Not Speeding, Just Qualifying podcast. Until then, I'm David Lawrence. Always remember, you're not living life to the fullest until you're going flat out. So long, everyone.